Hi, and welcome to another edition of Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Cold case homicides aren't just fodder for our favorite primetime TV shows, but they're full-time, exhaustive work for investigators. Find out what is being done in the Volusia County Sheriff's Office to bring some mysteries out of the filing cabinet and closer to justice. And safety is no accident in more ways than one, whether you're crossing the road, driving your car, or even at the airport waiting on your flight. I'll fill you in on these topics and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Why watch anything else? Cold case homicides, or unsolved murders for which the trail of clues has led to a dead end, are among the most haunting of cases for law enforcement. And the murder of James Aislinger is no different in that regard. Aislinger was found murdered inside of a home on Benson Junction Road in DeBary in May 1974. The victim was found dead about a week shy of his 31st birthday, his body exhibiting signs of violent trauma. The identity of his killer has never been determined, and the trail of clues has long grown cold for sheriff's investigators. But while the case has grown cold, it has been far from forgotten. In fact, just last year, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office Major Case Unit established a cold case squad that's dedicated to pouring through old case files to revive unsolved cases and bring killers to justice.
Well, basically, we created a unit back in March of 2012 to actually be able to work the cold case homicides more aggressively. We currently have 2 investigators assigned exclusively to cold case investigations. They're assisted by 2 volunteers who are retired law enforcement.
As part of the new effort, the Sheriff's Office recently unveiled its first in a series of cold case homicides of the week. The first case out of the box was Aislinger's case. The victim's picture and a brief information box have been posted on the Sheriff's Office's Facebook page and website. 38 other cases are being published on successive Mondays. The 38 cases represent 39 victims. One of the cases, the oldest dating back to 1957, is a double murder.
Anybody that has information, whether they believe it'll help us or not, if they have some information on a case, that might get us in the right direction. It might be just the one piece that we need to point us to a suspect or a lead that we can follow up on. If they come forward with that information, that's the start for us.
For more information about the Cold Case Squad, you can visit volusiasheriff.org. There are lots of emergency lights and sirens at Daytona Beach International Airport as emergency response personnel rush to a major crash at Daytona Beach International Airport.
For all units, we do have a confirmed airplane crash. We have heavy smoke showing.
Fortunately, the emergency was staged, not the real thing. It was a practice drill. A full-scale emergency response exercise was held at the county-operated airport as part of a triennial requirement of the Federal Aviation Administration that tests the abilities of emergency response units at the airport related to commercial aircraft emergencies.
We do these to be prepared. We are an airport. There are situations where aircraft come in and they have emergency problems. We are also under a mandate by the FAA to make sure that we practice, and we need to practice each year on a smaller scale drill, but we are required as an airport every 3 years to conduct a full-scale mass casualty exercise, and this is what we did. The last exercise was March 16th of 2010.
2 locations on airport property were pre-staged, a plane fuselage and a ticket counter in the terminal. Nearly 100 volunteers played victims at the exercise locations.
I thought the drill went very, very well under the conditions. It was cold, it was blustery, it was windy, but that did not deter all the emergency responders that participated. We had well over 150 participants at the airside and about another 50 to 60 over at our landside terminal building. And the main objective was just to test the airport emergency plan procedures. We need to be prepared in the event something occurs here at all times.
At the terminal, airline employees responded from the ticket counter of the fictitious airline, including dealing with waiting friends and family.
We have Red Cross.
Well, excuse me, I think you're double talking us.
There's only so much information that's available at this time. That's true.
The exercise brought together multiple first responders, including federal, state, and local law enforcement, fire agencies, and evac ambulance. Whether you're driving, walking, or riding, pay attention. That's the message officials with the Florida Department of Transportation are pushing as part of the Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow campaign. The campaign is targeting 10 Florida counties, including Volusia County. According to Ananth Prasad, Secretary for the Florida Department of Transportation, Florida is #1 in pedestrian and bicycle deaths, and Volusia County is 8th in the state for pedestrian deaths.
One of the things the Department of Transportation is committed to is make sure the state of Florida, we have the best infrastructure in place, best roads, bridges. Our highways have been the safest it's ever been. But one stat that we're not really proud of is pedestrian and bicycle fatalities.
The Department of Transportation kicked off the bicycle and pedestrian safety campaign during Speed Weeks at Daytona International Speedway. And they sponsored driver Joe Nemechek's number 87 Toyota in NASCAR's popular Nationwide Series.
To me, it was incredible learning the statistics of pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicular deaths that happen in the state. And a lot of this that people don't really, you just take it for granted. But until it happens to someone that you know, we're going to do our best to promote and get this campaign out to as many people as we can.
Sergeant Kim Montez of the Florida Highway Patrol reminded pedestrians to always use the crosswalk and look before crossing the street.
You know, this campaign not only includes education, it also includes enforcement, engineering, and emergency services. Law enforcement's out there. We want both drivers and pedestrians to follow the law so that everybody can be safe.
Drivers are reminded to stop before turning on a red light, to yield to pedestrians, and to pay attention to the road every time, every trip. Remember, safety doesn't happen by accident.
I'm Joshua Wagner with the Volusia County Council. If you're going to one of our beautiful beaches, have a great day and come back often. If you drive on the beach, please observe the 10-mile-per-hour speed limit and be very careful of pedestrians, especially children. If you're visiting with children, watch them constantly and take small children by the hand when crossing traffic lanes. You might want to use one of our traffic-free zones. For more beach information, please visit volusia.org.
With Bike Week upon us, it makes sense to talk with one of the largest participants, the folks at Rossmeyer Harley-Davidson. Michelle Coates with the Business Beat headed to Bruce Rossmeyer Harley-Davidson at Destination Daytona.
We're here at Bruce Rossmeyer Harley-Davidson at Destination Daytona, a supersized dealership equipped for a supersized event. Motorcycling is a multi-billion-dollar industry that benefits local retailers, the hospitality industry, restaurants, and motorcycle-related businesses. The industry generates over $25 billion in equipment, accessories, travel, entertainment, apparel, and financial services, according to the Motorcycle Industry Council. New motorcycle sales account for about $10 billion. Today, there are more than 450 makes and models on the market. The Destination Daytona Harley-Davidson shop boasts more than 350 Harley-Davidsons to choose from. We spoke to Rossmeyer Harley-Davidson General Manager Shelley Rossmeyer Pepe in the 109,000 square foot world's largest dealership at Destination Daytona.
We're hoping to have a huge crowd here for Bike Week this year. We're getting a lot of participation with our vendors and just the overall motorcycle industry.
The streets of Volusia County fill with chromed thunder as hundreds of thousands of motorcycles annually converge upon the area. Bike Week is a biker festival of epic proportions with an estimated 500,000 bikers attending.
That's huge. I mean, most dealers don't get an opportunity to have that many people in or around their dealership in 2 years. We get it in 10 days.
Within 10 days, bikers spend an estimated $300 million in the local economy. In fact, about 92% of motorcycle enthusiasts travel for vacation, spending more than $3,000 per vacation. Bike Week is enjoyed by locals and motorcycle enthusiasts from around the globe. To accommodate the influx of visitors and customers, Rossmeyer Harley increases its staffing.
We have just about 90 employees on a fairly full-time basis, but we about double that during the event.
Motorcyclists account for about 5% of Florida's motoring public. The majority of motorcycle enthusiasts are college-educated, married, and earn a higher than average income. The average rider in the United States is just under 50 years of age, and female riders are a rising demographic.
More and more women are just a part of this whole group. I mean, from not buying clothing, buying motorcycles, and with that comes all of the accessorizing of the bikes. And
while owning a motorcycle is much more affordable in many ways compared to having a car, the median household income of motorcycle owners exceeds that of the average American. But sales are expected to get a boost in the coming year due to skyrocketing gas prices, bringing more cycle devotees into the core user group, and further changing the face of the motorcycle consumer.
The coolest part about coming up here is just the crowd. I mean, when you see all the motorcycles in line, ready to park and then get off their bikes.
Rossmeyer Harley-Davidson is poised to serve those customers across Volusia County. The Beach Street location offers Bike Week events and a museum for history buffs. After all, Bike Week began in 1937 with the running of the Daytona 200 on the sands of our local beach. The dealerships at Destination Daytona and in New Smyrna Beach offer shopping from Harley-Davidson retail to vendors to entertainment and food. Bike Week has something to offer everyone, no matter what your taste. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat.
And if you're looking for more information on that, you can visit brucerossmeyer.com. You can't look at someone to tell if they're HIV positive. There are many faces of HIV, and there are stories behind each face. Stephanie Strong takes us to the Department of Health's Faces of HIV exhibit as it makes its stop in Volusia County in this segment of Community Health Matters.
Educating, inspiring, changing perception. HIV has evolved into a nameless, faceless epidemic. All too often, inaccurate perceptions about the disease are perpetrated by a long list of exhausted stereotypes. The truth is, you can't tell if someone is positive just by looking at them. This virus knows no color, creed, or sexuality. And no one is immune. These are the faces of HIV, and there are many stories that go along with each journey. Omar's story, sick and needing help.
When I actually did go to the health department, within that 2-week span of time, I had developed double pneumonia, was having night sweats, fevers, nausea, fatigue, to the point, and I was like, my body was just wasting away, and I really couldn't put it off any longer. So I went to the hospital and went to the ER. They had me sitting down there for 6 to 8 hours, and they just took me upstairs. They didn't tell me what was going on, what I had, although in the back of my mind I knew. And it was really tough. It was extremely tough because my family was there and they were supportive, but I was so sick that they really couldn't come sit vigil with me because at the time, my CD4 count was less than 20. So I was pretty much on my deathbed.
Today, Omar stands outside of the Florida Department of Health's Faces of HIV exhibit. His face is just one of the many spotlighted here.
It has been a very interesting journey so far. I am embracing it because it's forcing me to, it's helping me to accept my own disease as well, and also to empower other people with knowledge of what the disease is and what it does or does not look like.
People with HIV are fathers, grandmothers, friends, and neighbors. They are people you pass on the street and people you meet. And they have one important characteristic in common with all of us. They are human beings.
In the beginning, I guess, honestly, it was a reckless abandon to numb myself from all the aspects and the feelings that were associated with HIV. So, you know, drank like a fish, acted like I was only going to be here until I was 35, made, you know, some stupid choices because of that. So it was kind of a reckless abandon in the beginning.
Jeff says his perspective changed once he decided to seek treatment. That gave him the will to live. And that's inside of him, each and every day of his journey.
The reason that we created the Faces of HIV was to actually put a face to HIV, make HIV not seem like it's something separate from the rest of the community, but a part of the community.
Through captivating portraits, insightful interviews, and emotional journal writing, the Faces of HIV project examines the effects of stigmas, the personal relationships, and care issues associated with being HIV positive. For more information about the Faces of HIV exhibit, please visit www.wemakethechange.com. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. It's time now to head into the studio to join our Community Information Director, Dave Byron, for a chat with Director of Marketing for the Daytona Beach Ocean Center, Angela Daniels.
Well, thank you, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, while the national economy continues to improve, this has affected the convention business. Nevertheless, bookings at the county's Ocean Center are up, and prospects look very good for a strong spring and summer season. Today, we'll get an update on our Ocean Center with our studio guest, Angela Cameron Daniels. She's the Ocean Center Marketing Director. Angela, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, as we've said, the economy is still a little troublesome, but getting better. Overall, as you look at 2012 at the Ocean Center, how'd we do?
Dave, last year we had our best year ever. We had over 307,000 attendees and 103 events. So every year, it's the best year we've had since we've opened the building. And so far, since October 1st, we've had 41 events and close to 94,000 attendees. So we are getting better every year, and it looks like the economy's picking up and our destination is growing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, all of the signs seem to be more and more positive. You know, when you look at tourism in the state of Florida, when you look at how we're doing in the area, here we are right into Bike Week, coming off a very successful Speed Weeks and so forth. It does look like in general that the tourist business is coming back.
It really does. I mean, we've got a strong schedule this year, and you know, the bookings are strong. I mean, we've got groups that we've had in the past that have booked through 2017. It's amazing the repeat business that we have and the retention and the new groups that we have coming on board.
You know, Angela, you mentioned, you know, the repeat business. One of the things that I think you all can say with complete honesty is the fact that you have a very, very strong client relationship. When you get a client in the Ocean Center, there's a very, very strong chance that they'll rebook. They get great customer service. So you have a lot of loyalty there.
We do, you know, Dave, that we have a great staff. The service is good. They get a personalized service from us where maybe in a larger destination they might not get. They love the building. They love the food quality that we have in the building, and they love the destination. You know, the building is 400 feet from the beach,
right,
and everything is in within walking distance. So we do have a a great destination with the airport, the easy access there, and affordability.
I know one of the things as part of your marketing efforts, one of the things that you always try to do, if you can do it, is to bring a potential meeting planner or a person that may be in charge of a convention, to bring them into the area and actually bring them into the Ocean Center, because almost invariably when you do that, they come away with a much different picture than they might have had before they got here.
They do, and it's great when we've got a planner that's never been to Daytona Beach, because you know they might have a certain image about what we are,
right,
and once we get them there, and we've done a lot of events that have hosted meeting planners, which I think has really helped our destination, plus all the fam tours. But like you say, once they get there, they really see what we have to offer, especially if they haven't been there, you know, in 20 years,
right,
or they've seen all the redevelopment areas and they get there and they love it. They really are impressed.
Literally, we can hear the bikers in our ears as we're doing our taping here. You know, the bikers bring a lot of revenue into the area, real busy around the Ocean Center footprint, but that doesn't always work 100% in the Ocean Center's favor, does it?
It doesn't, unfortunately. You know, we don't have the room availability to attract the meetings and conventions that we'd like to during that time, so really we have to rely on any kind of consumer events that we might get during that event. We did have Harley Davidson years ago, but since then we have not been able to attract a specific bike group into the Ocean Center, and it's really hard to pull the bikers into a building, especially if the weather is nice. So that's been our challenges.
And of course we know that traffic can be a little bit of a problem during bike week.
It can. It's really hard to sell a meeting planner and come in right in the middle of bike week because of the traffic.
But obviously Main Street, which seems to be the focal point of the bike week activities, the Ocean Center is virtually on Main Street, and there's been a lot of talk in the city of Daytona Beach about renovating and doing some things on Main Street. And in the long run, if that happens, that would have to benefit the Ocean Center, because your clients need as many opportunities as they can for dining and after-hour activities.
That would really enhance their experience, and hopefully we could, you know, get some upscale restaurants, shopping, and as we've discussed before, we really need those upscale hotels. We need to aggressively go after the National Association business and corporate business. So we really need for all the areas around the Ocean Center to be that viable redevelopment area to really attract the business that in the future.
Well, looking at the spring and summer schedule, Angela, my understanding is you have a nice mix of booked business, you know, in the next few months. Tell us about some of the groups that are coming here.
Oh, we do. We've got the Harlem Globetrotters. Speaking of Bike Week, they're right in the middle of the first weekend of Bike Week. They're Saturday night. And then the Daytona Beach News Journal Home Show. That is a very popular event for locals.
Right.
But on the meetings and convention side, we have a first-time event, the Parachute Industry Association Symposium, and they're going to be here for 4 days. So we're excited about having them here.
They decided to drop in. Huh?
They did decide to drop in. And we've got the Florida Federations of Color Guards, and they came the first time last year, and they're another one that is booked through 2017. They got the National Cheerleading Competition coming up, and that is always a favorite for the locals because of the economic impact it provides for the entire area. And they have two events, the college competition and all the international ones. And then also another first-time event, a Taekwondo qualifier. So we've got a mix of sporting events, some meetings and conventions, expos, so it's a good mix in the next couple of months.
One of the things the County Council is doing right now, Angela, is they're thinking about the recommendations of a tourism study, kind of a study on tourism marketing countywide, including the Ocean Center. There's a lot of recommendations in there, but one of the recommendations that related to the Ocean Center seemed to focus on convention booking relationships with the Daytona Beach CVB. I know you and your staff and the CVB staff, you do work together on conventions, but the study seems to be saying there are some additional things that you all can be doing to work together, and I guess that's probably what you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean the two staffs have worked together many years, and you know they both play a role. They both should be selling new business, cultivating new leads. The Ocean Center has an additional role in making the customer happy, trying to sign that contract for repeat business. Of course, the CVB's role is to look for that hotel inventory. When we do get an RFP, send that out to make sure we've got good housing for the client, and then also transportation and other needs. So there's definitely a role for everyone, and it's just for us to make sure we continue to book business and do the best we can.
And you know, one of the other things that the study pointed out, which I don't think came as a surprise to too many people, and that is that Volusia has a lot of opportunities in the so-called sports tourism, or this, you know, this kind of activities that the Ocean Center has quite a few of, like you mentioned, the cheerleading and you know, the sporting activities, volleyball, that sort of thing. And what the study seems to be saying is there's a lot of potential here. If that should gel, I would think that would benefit the Ocean Center.
Well, absolutely. We had 22 sporting events last year, including competitive arts, and our destination is perfect for that. Not only are we, you know, close to the beach, but the attractions, the shopping, restaurants, and everything within walking distance, that's attractive for sporting events. But if we're going to aggressively go after this, we really do need to look at a substantial promotional fund that would offset these costs, because a lot of these groups need seed money. They want concessions, so we'd need a way to offset these so we could attract more sporting events.
Well, all in all, it sounds as though things are going pretty well at the Ocean Center, Angela. I mean, you know, been tough economic times, but it looks like, you know, there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel now.
There is. We're very fortunate with our staff and in such a wonderful building and the great support of the county.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us.
Thank you.
Our guest today is Angela Cameron Daniels. She's the marketing director at the county's Ocean Center. The Ocean Center has a website, oceancenter.com. So if you want information on the Ocean Center, you can access that website, or you can call 386-254-4500.
That's correct.
With that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org. You can also watch the show online. Just go to volusia.org and click on the News tab. And did you know you can view the County Council meeting calendar there too? You'll find out about meeting dates, activities, special events, topics of interest, and how you can participate. Members of the Volusia County Historic Preservation Board would like to invite you to their next meeting. The board will meet at 3 p.m. Tuesday, March 19th in the Media Center of the Port Orange Elementary School at 402 Dunlawton Avenue in Port Orange. Members will discuss the board's programs and policies. The public is invited to attend and participate. And last but not least, we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. We'll see you next week.